This is going to be great. See, it's just live for 23 seconds. I don't know what that means. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Across the Cowboys podcast. I'm your interim host because, facial hair is not here, so I can't rock out like Paul. But yeah, here we are. Well, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike the Big Crumb. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I got this mustache is getting too thick, dude. I don't know how Paul does that stuff. I'm a week away, about 10 days away from shaving, so I'm very happy about that. Shaving a haircut.
Shaving hair. Where can we find you on X, aka Twitter?
At CD Piglet, guys, nice and easy.
You can find me at Brendan_Smith26, and you can find Paul at Paul_Ryan15. Can't forget that. He's here, but he's never forgotten.
Yeah, he may be out today, but you should still follow him. Don't make he feels bad enough.
Well, so we haven't really talked in a little bit because we've been having guests on and stuff, but let's talk some preseason football. We've had a lot of interesting things happen. But Mike, what if anything did you take away from the game versus the Raiders?
Cooper Beebe should start. It's and I was one of the ones that was like, no, Hoffman's earning the job. Beebe's struggling snapping. His transition from snap to get into his block is not as good as Hoffman's. He doesn't know the system as well. So I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, I can't really, I'm a BB guy, but what do you want me to do? The proof's in the pudding. And over the last 2 weeks, BB's really like stepped it up. And just talent-wise, he's just so much better. It's not fair to Hoffman. Hoffman's like hard-working guy, and BB is like super talented guy. So, yeah, that game, when you left that game and I'm watching him dirt two dudes in one play, two starting players on their defense. I was like, that's your starting center right there.
I think we're only really going to talk about rookies, to be completely honest with you, almost tonight. But mine's Tyler Guyton. He went up against Mad Max Crosby. That dude is no slouch at all. He won a few reps. They even had a hit head at the end, just show respect to each other. That's that's a late pick in the first round, going against probably one of the best edge rushers in the league during a preseason game, and he still murdered. Like, I was wrong. Like I said on Twitter, I wanted Barton. I wanted the flexibility, but then you got flexibility when you drafted Cooper Beebe. So everything just looks great, and the front office looks like they're doing right things again, even though I don't blame them. It's all Will McClay.
When Dallas drafts an offensive lineman in the first round, all we say is, okay, even if the next two bust, you kind of still got to be like, you know what? I got to see it 3 times, then mess up. They're that good in first-round offensive linemen. So from now on, no matter what we think, if they don't like Terrence Steele and they get somebody with pick 32 next year, they're not winning at all. I was just trying to be funny. If they do that and we just got to go, okay, like if they pick a guy in the first round's offensive line, we all shut up. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I learned the hard way with Tyler Smith. I'm like, brother, what? And then you just see he's listed with a Mauler. And apparently they're all of them except for Terrence Steele is Blastoise. I don't know what's going on with that on Twitter, honestly. But you know what? F it, let's go. Which players' performance were you impressed by?
I gotta give Flournoy some love. Like, he has the size, speed, like that thing. But I didn't know if he was a good enough receiver. Man, did he shake? He shook us. Not some third string. That's the Raiders' starting cornerback.
Jack Jones.
Jack Jones shook him like bad, like CD Lamb would do bad. So and the throw was there. It was a really nice play. So Flournoy would be my offensive guy. On defense, got to go Wanye Thomas. He was hitting folks. He was all over the place, like all on 3 different levels: deep ball, short ball, in the backfield, blocking a pass from the quarterback on a rush. He was impressive.
I gotta go with offensively Deuce Vaughn. First game back from injury, and he leads the team in yards per carry. And he didn't have to run it much. He looks so good.
He really
You see
did.
what happens when you have a scheme for him and you don't just give him the ball late in the fourth quarter because you're just trying to milk out the clock. You see what happened. He can be skilled. I don't know how we're going to shake up this roster but he has to. He's your top 3 running back. Like he has to be.
People forget that sometimes it takes a year for a guy, as a 6th-round pick, he gets in there and people think, oh, running back's easy transition. Maybe he got in there and was like, damn, this is faster than I thought. Damn, these are stronger than I think. These guys are stronger. And he just needed a year to go, let me figure this thing out. Let me build up this strength. Let me learn how to do this. Let me, make these adjustments. Maybe it's his time now.
It's just because their scheme for running the clock is just run up the middle every time. Deuce Vaughn, like everyone makes fun of his size. You don't put a guy 5'5" going right up the center every play. Like, are you kidding? That's how you get him killed. But defensively, and shocker, it's another rookie. It's Marshawn Nealon, dude. He is so disruptive. Like, he's already showing against the run, which it makes my heart feel so much joy. For the simple fact of DeMarcus Lawrence isn't the only run defender now. I never thought it could happen. But he was getting after it while getting held, which people were calling the Micah treatment. But, like, Dallas got almost nothing from their rookie class last year, and now they might be getting some studs.
Yeah. And then imagine if Mozzie's get-off has been better, Demo's coming out. Schoon's still going to be your tight end, too. We got to see if he can stay healthy. But that and Deuce Vaughn, who we're just talking about. So if they could get, really great play out of their rookie class and acceptable play out of their last year's class, well, let's see what's happening. Let's see. They got enough great players. They just need some stuff around them.
Isn't that so fitting for Dallas, though? They do almost nothing in free agency, but they're like, oh, hey, look, we have these guys, and it works out.
It's annoying. It's only annoying because if they would go all in, just imagine if this team added a I'm trying to think of the guy I wanted, a defensive tackle, any DJ Reader type.
Dude, Grover Stewart.
Like if they put in money for someone like that, just that one piece, but it is what it is. They're always going to be like, damn, we're right there because they have enough great players, but they won't frustrating.
Yeah. What have you learned about this Cowboys team during training camp?
Zimmer's defensive scheme is going to be different. They're going to try to. The big key for them is going to not make it easy on the quarterback. It's not going to be they may know what's coming, but we're talented enough to stop it. Micah Parsons will out-talent you. Diggs will pick the ball off. Bland will pick the ball off. Like, it's not going to be that tight. It's going to be, yeah, we got all these great players, but you also got to figure out what we're doing. We're going to try to fool you sometimes. You may get us on this drive, but the next drive, we're going to pull out some shit on a 3rd down and 6 to try to get you off the field, to give our offense another shot, So that was one key. The other is that guard, 2 all-pro guards, center combo, that they could be disgusting, right? Like I told people the left side will be really good in a couple of years because Guyton's playing well, but you can still see him. He leans a little. He has some false steps, like things that Myles Garrett is going to take advantage of. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
He's going to have issues in it. BB might step out there with those 2 all-pros around him, and they might just be disgusting week 1, like disgusting. So, that's my 2 things, Zimmer and that interior offensive line.
I'm going to talk about the offensive line as a total. I think by halfway through this season, I seriously think this offensive line will be better than it was last year.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Like, the biggest thing I was ever against Bialic is he just wasn't strong. Well, offensive line is strong. Got his preface that I'm like, he could bench me 3 times over, and we wouldn't even talk about it. But, like, he just wasn't strong. And so he was getting bullied at the middle. BB ain't taking to any of that.
No.
And then if Guyton can just be there, he'll be better than Tyron. If he can just be there and then develop. Because everyone's going to – dude, I'm telling you, the first 2 weeks, it'll be Cam Jordan and it's going to be Myles Garrett. they're going to be rehealing the crap out of Guyton. He's still developmental. Is he playing well in the preseason? Yes, he is, but he's developmental. Just wait. He's already showing you so much more than he probably should have, honestly. So,
I'm worried about the expectations getting so high that if he gives up a couple sacks to Garrett and Cam Jordan back-to-back, everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, see, he really wasn't ready. And it's like, dude, he's playing two of the best players on defense. And, I'm like, y'all should be glad they're not going after Terrence Steele. Because although I think Steele will have a bounce-back year in the run-blocking department, he's always going to be an issue as a pass blocker. He's just not great at that, So that's why I tell people, I'm like, yeah, halfway through the season, Guyton might be like, all right, I've gotten the bumps out. I'm ready to roll. People are just going to text Steele too. So just let it develop. But that interior is going to be gross.
No, I mean, you're on the same page. What I've seen people talk about is with this scheme compared to Dan Quinn. He was like, you're athletic. We're gonna win with that.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be scheme. It's just that we're better, and that's what he went with. For half the team, guess what? It did work because you do have some really talented guys. But for some players that aren't completely like Damone Clark, you would just thrust it into the fire of call my defense, and you be there. J-Ron Curse wasn't talented, so I don't know what he was gonna be doing, and all that. But they're working hard, but also it's just be able to hide things. So you can get more turnovers, so you can get your all-pro corners back.
Yeah, but for me, I want my team to get off the field on third down more than even if the turnovers lessen. We need to start making teams punt more. That's a big deal. Like when we didn't win a game, we didn't get a turnover. Like that should not be a thing. We have enough talent on our defense to where it shouldn't be turnover needy. Turnovers are great. But Micah Parsons and Kendricks now and Osa and Bland and Diggs and Hooker, like they should be good enough to get a stop on 3rd and 6 and make a team punt the ball. Like let's get that more.
What has been your least favorite storyline out of training camp?
Least favorite. Injuries always is. Now I know none of our like major players have had. But I don't want to see Adoga or Bostic or anybody like that injured. Deuce Vaughn was injured for a little bit. Sam Williams, God, so it's always injuries, and that's across the league. There's been too many. And then also the running back room, and it's more that it feels like the team's hiding Ezekiel Elliott, and I know he's a Dallas fan. I love the guy too, but I don't want it to be like this guy was a number 1 pick for us and he did a lot for us in the past, so it's guaranteeing him a spot. Like there's 6 guys in that room, and if he's not one of the best 3 or 4, then he shouldn't make the team. He should have to battle for it. So those 2 things kind of are obviously the injuries. And then while I'm happy with how Dallas has paid this room, I do not want them spending high draft capital. Top 100 picks and over $7 million for running backs is just doesn't work. It's been proven. There's no need to do it. Rico Dowdle, if healthy, could be a good running back line, a good offensive line. So they made the right decisions, but I want them I want the room to be built on who is playing the best, not who means the most to Dallas or sells the most jerseys or is the most known name. If Zeke wins it, great. That's awesome. That's even better. But if he's not, then let the other 3 better backs be the guys.
I think personally with Zeke, it's more of they know what they have, but also they're just trying to keep the wear and tear as much off of him as possible because now the reports are showing, most of us knew this, that he was playing on 2 big injuries for the past 2 years he was here. So just trying to keep him as healthy as possible. There's no way he gets like 50 more carries than Rico Dowdle. There's no way.
No. He's got to be at like the 150 carries limit. He should not be a 150 carries guy. Like I love the idea of is that our Paul? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Zeke being short yardage, being
Always here in spirit.
and Rico being your, if you have to have a 17 to 20 carry guy, let that be Rico, and let Zeke be leader, short yardage, pass protector guy, that type of thing would be perfect. Then if he shows more, then expand it from there.
Well, this room is just shaky in general. Not even talking about, we're talking about, you can talk about health, because like Zeke's coming off injuries, and that Rico's never been healthy. But he was healthier last year, but like that's a pretty big jump in a role between Tony Pollard getting like 75 to 80% of the carries to now where it's like, oh hey, we're hoping you get at least 40%. That's just a big jump, and that's scary. My least favorite, it's the contracts. Like Dak's doing it well because like Dak doesn't care. He's gonna get the bag no matter what happens this year with whatever team. Hope I'm praying to God it's us because I don't want purgatory, which honestly sometimes this fan base deserves. But it's that, and then CeeDee Lamb's going into his Bully McGuire era. It looks like that's the first thing that popped in my mind when I saw him post that. But like, just pay your guys. It's the easiest thing to do. Hey, you're the best. You're one of the best in your position. Here's your money. Bam, you're done. You should be patting yourself on the back that you have to pay this much because you drafted them. They're homegrown, and it's just so stupid.
Lamb will be here this week. He'll get here by Friday.
Hopefully, that would make my week so much better. All right, well, stock ups and stock down.
Let's go. We're doing one offense, one defense, or one each. One stock up, one stock down, right?
Yeah.
Nealon is stock up. You can't. Don't try to block him with the tight end. He mutilates that play where you think you can run up the middle and just get in the way with the tight end. He will push the tight end into your running back every time. That has already been. That was a thing that people hoped when we first drafted him. That was like hey, we've seen him in college tape. He'll push that's college. Tight ends don't know how to block this and that. He's doing it in the NFL like every time we see him. Practice game, scrimmage, he's mutilating tight ends into the running back. So he's stock up. Stock down for me, and it's not really about the player's performance. It's Hoffman. But it's just because 2 weeks ago, you wouldn't have been able to tell me BB could start. He's not snapping well. His transitions are slow from the snap to block. Like, Hoffman knows the offense. Everyone's talking about how great he is. He's a tough worker. He's first one in, last one out. Like, Hoffman's got this job. And now over the last 2 weeks, it's like, no, this is BB's job. Like, clearly BB's job. Like, if BB is not the starter, we're going to be mad as Dallas fans. We're like, dude, we know you like this guy. We get he probably has it more up here right now than BB, but not enough to discern the talent between a day 2 pick guy that was clearly a day 2 guy and a clear undrafted guy that had to build his way up over years with hard work and everything. We know the difference as scout people. So, don't do that. He's the starter, so stock down would be Hoffman.
I got my for real stock up, and I want to say a quick one. My stock up is my not real one, but it's Brandon Aubrey because he's going to break the record this year. He's going to.
That's Lacey. Lacey called it. That was her bold prediction, so don't try to take that from her.
I wasn't there. I would say this is not a bold prediction. It's not bold. It's just after watching him basically he could have made it from 72 from what I think StatCast shows. But you know what? My bad, Lacey. Full respect to you. I know. No, rightfully so.
She's the queen. She's the queen. Yeah,
rightfully so. But no, mine's Leofau. I didn't think anything of this dude. I'm gonna be completely honest. I went, who? I'm like, who the hell did we just pick? I'm like, okay, it's whatever. Like, oh, it's a Zimmer guy. Okay, like I've seen Dan Quinn guys, and they're pretty bad. One's in Minnesota right now. So, but he is playing with so much energy that like you just like sometimes will he take the wrong gap? Yeah, it happens. You're a rookie. But dude, he is flying. And he's bodying people too. It's just like that's I can't believe that this draft class already looks so much better than last year's.
I love Leafau because he makes his decision and he goes.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people go, yeah, but what if you miss? I go, yeah, but as you play more as a linebacker, he's going to miss less and less as he sees things, as he learns things. It's a lot harder for a guy. If a guy can see it, but then hesitates, what does it matter if he sees it? So give me the guy that's like the instincts and go. And it's funny because when I was scouting Leafau, I thought Dan Quinn. I was like, this guy plays safety. They don't hardly ever let him play linebacker. When he played for Notre Dame, he was a linebacker that did everything but play linebacker. So when they drafted him, my first thought was like, damn, that feels like a Dan Quinn pick because he's not. You don't have tape at him as like a straight up linebacker. The other kid whose name I'm going to forget for Notre Dame was the linebacker guy. And he looked great as playing linebacker. But when Zim was talking about his instincts and how he knew stuff, I was like, okay, this is a guy we gotta wait and see. And now you see it. You get it. Just because we took the time to go, hey, whoa, let's see what this is about first before we jump in and call him what kind of dumb pick was this, you know? So yeah, he's I thought he was a Dan Quinn guy at first, but now I'm glad he's a Zimmer guy.
Yeah. And then my stock down is for, honestly, a back half of a position. It's the backup tight ends behind Schoonmaker. You're hearing all that, dude, Brevin Spanford, easily the best blocker on this team, like coming into camp. Hasn't shown anything. John Stevens is looking great. He looks more like a wide receiver, which is now a diss because we need bigger guys at tight end. Yeah. So, like, none of them have showed up. Schoon is the only person who's shown up in preseason, and because he kind of needs to with being a tight end too. But other than that, you got nothing.
You could have added Schoonmaker to that because he's injured so much.
I know, but he made a few plays against the Raiders, so I'm going to give him some grace. Grace. But the others have shown nothing. I think Brevin Spanford had like one decent catch, and that's it.
And Stevens everybody told us Stevens was gonna make the roster last year. That was a fact. He was making the 53. Stephen Jones straight up said it. But I think he's one of those, needs some time off a knee injury guys. Because of that, it could get him to our practice squad. Brevin Spanford will make the practice squad. He hasn't shown enough to where people have to remember if a team picks him up, he's got to be on their 53. I just don't think he's shown that he could be a 53-man contributor right now. So, the tight ends, we have a lot of good ones, and we may have like 3 on our practice squad because I don't see them. Princeton Fant, they're going to keep. They love him. Brevin Spanford, they gave a lot of money to. And John Stevens Jr. was going to make the squad last year. So they may have 3 practice squad tight ends. Like legitimately could have that.
It's so disappointing.
I know.
Since I'm a Ferg, I love Ferg so much. I do crap on Schoon a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to myself, but you're hoping for something behind them, and no one has showed up. Tight end is supposed to be your safety blanket. Trey Lance has needed a safety blanket for this preseason. No one.
Who's your okay? Dallas is going to take 3 tight ends. Hunter Lemke's a fullback. He doesn't count. And we know Schoon on draft stock and Fergie, because he's a beast, are on there. Who's your tight end 3 right now? Who are you taking?
It depends on what you want. I'm guessing it's going to be Stevens just because they do like him a lot. But he's more of a wide receiver. I don't want my third string tight end to be mainly a receiving tight end. You have Ferg can both Schoon and Ferg can block, but Ferg's mainly a receiving tight end, and Schoon can do a little bit of both. Like I only think Stevens because no one has shown anything. I don't know.
Hey, you know who's stocked down really should be stocked down on both of us?
What?
Hendershot, because we didn't even mention.
Holy shit!
Wow, he was on the squad last year playing. And I forgot he was on the damn team. I'm like, yeah, oh yeah,
dude.
When you said receiving tight end, I was like, well, he'll replace Hendershot, and then I was like, damn, we didn't even bring up Hendershot,
dude. Oh my god, you did not just bring. Wow, I pride myself on my knowledge on this team. Was nowhere in here because all we've seen from clips and from training camp is him dropping seam passes. That's all we've seen.
Yeah, bad.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think he was on. I forgot he was on the team. Because has he even played in the preseason?
I don't think so. I think he's been.
I haven't heard his name at all. Dude, my mind is blown. My mind is blown right now. Like that full on just caught me off guard.
That's major stock down, Hendershot.
All right. Well, which players are you worried you might get cut?
Deuce is one. I think they're bringing Zeke for sure. They're bringing Rico for sure. They're bringing Lipke for sure. And for me, that would be my three because I'm smart enough to know they're not cutting Zeke, So that would be my three. And I think Deuce would make the practice squad. I don't think anybody's putting him on their 53 right now. He hasn't shown enough for that. So he can be called up, but I'd still be worried about him being cut. And then on defense, I don't think it's going to happen because I think he's too versatile and he's playing the backup slot right now. But there's a world where Mukwamu could, and I really do not want that to happen. I really like Mukwamu, but that would be my worry guy because he still is the bubble. If you look, he's slot corner 2, cornerback overall 5, safety 5. So is it possible, and he's in his last year, so maybe they want to keep somebody that has more control, that they have more control over. So I don't think it'll happen, but he worries me that he'll get cut.
I think the problem with Izzy, because Izzy's a great choice. My thought for this was more of trades. My thought was terrified. I'd cry if Deuce left. I love our small king.
I know.
But is Marquise Bell being traded? Ooh. Because your safety room has been the most talented it's ever been. Ever. Honestly. Well, at least since I've been alive. So, what are you going to do? You got 4 dudes who could start. And that's not including Izzy, which is a scary part. But is he going to be CV5? Or is technically is Eric Scott going to be there because he's a recent draft pick, and then also CJ Goodwin being your ace on special teams.
That's Bell. The thing is Hooker's a 1-year deal, so I think Wanye Thomas goes in right there. Dono, I think his contract is expendable. The problem is that Dono. When he's not injured, when he is healthy, is like a special playmaker. Like he makes a lot. He is a guy that could blitz. People don't understand how good he's going to be in Zimmer's system, where he could blitz, play the run. He in 2 safety splits, he covers better than anyone will ever give him credit for. But man, I don't know how. That's the toughest thing Zimmer's going to have to figure out. How do you play those 4 guys? Because they all have to play. They're all starter quality. And then going into next year, it'll kind of be money-wise. Like Dono may go for money. Is Marquise Bell make a lot of money? Does he go out? Do they want to play him because next year he gets signed somewhere and they get a 4th-round comp pick? That safety room's crazy how good it is.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing with Bell is that I know tackles don't mean much because Jalen Smith led the team, but as a safety, mainly linebacker because Dan Quinn's scheme. But he was the 2nd-year team in tackles behind Clark, and he's looked dominant. in this preseason. He's been the best player on the field.
Yeah.
Like, what else do you need to see from him for you to be like, yeah, I don't think he's not going to make the roster. Brother, what?
No,
So
those four you might as well lock in unless it's a trade. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They will not get cut.
I know. That's why I was thinking defense. I was starting to think of ones that would like hurt more. There's a lot of players that would leave. I'm like, oh no, Bell would hurt. I'm like, dude, he's just good.
Bell would
and
hurt.
now you see how comfortable he is at safety now. Like he's like, I'm back at home. It's so great. Well, actually, I guess this goes into our next topic really nicely. Has the development of Wanye Thomas and Marquise Bell made Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson expendable?
I'm going to say no. Would you trade them if you could get something? Sure, but Dono's going to be a big time guy in this defense if he's healthy. Zimmer will love him, and Hooker's your only real true, like, been a free safety, playmaker type of player. We haven't seen that from Wanye Thomas yet, enough to be like, oh yeah, he could do that through a whole year. So I'm gonna say no. As far as like, would I like get rid of them and start the other two? No, I wouldn't. But if somebody offered the right compensation for one of the players, because I want to keep three. I would be okay making a move for the right, draft.
What position, if you could trade them for, what would you choose?
Offensive tackle, with all the injuries, I would want that because Steele is questionable and Guyton's a rookie, and if either one of them go down, I don't know what you're going to do. And DT or D line, really across the whole D line, and then running back for the right running back.
Going back to the beginning of the offseason to today, do you feel better or worse with the defensive line?
I feel better. Mozzie's get off is important. Like, forget all the weight and the this and that and the other. If you told me he could be a 330 with last year's get off or 295 with this year's get off, give me 295, Mozzie. He just has to pause. He has to get off better. Nealon obviously is a rookie, his play, and then the additions of Lawson and Phillips, solid. They could play at the NFL level players. That they're better this year.
People are talking about Phillips could be better than Hankins.
This is one thing I'm going to tell people because Phillips is a 3-tech. He's going to be Osa's backup.
That's when
Rodgers and Mozzie are going to be the 1-techs. I know Phillips is a big dude, and he will take snaps occasionally at 1-tech, but he will be the backup to Osa. You guys just got to trust me on this. He will be Osa's backup, and Osa needs a good backup. We've talked about it for a full training camp. Who the hell's coming in for the guy that literally gets worn down after week 12 of the year already, and you have no backup for him? He will be that. Big enough in emergency, injury, something happens. You want to take some snaps with him and Osa both on the field. You put him at nose tackle. But it'll be Mozzie and Osa starting. Rodgers and Phillips will be the backups.
Well, do you consider Phillips and Carl Lawson the impact players?
For this roster, yes. Here's what people have to understand about this roster. Like, not every roster is going to have a great player at every position. It's just not. But when you have rosters that have Dak, Lamb, Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, Micah Parsons, Tank Lawrence, Osa, Kendricks, Diggs, Bland, Hooker, Dono, like, they got players everywhere. What you can't have is a spot that a guy can't play. You can't have last year's Mozzie Smith being your 1-tech, no backup to Osa where he's wearing down, and then you're sitting there where everybody knows you have that gigantic, hey, no matter what, we could just attack this. I don't care how good they are everywhere else. The minute they adjust to try to stop this, then we can attack them elsewhere. but they have this giant hole. So what Lawson does is Lawson allows you to move Micah more, be versatile, which you want him to do because he can play the D-line. What Phillips does is he gives Osa a break, snaps, and in an emergency is big enough to be a one technique. And so they don't leave holes now in your roster. So you look around and you go, okay, where's the holes in the roster? Tolbert seems to be a good enough wide receiver 3 now. Guyton and Beebe seem to be good enough. You were worried about that. Phillips, Mozzie, Osa, and Rogers. That is still a question mark. That's your one where you're like, okay, that worries me. The defensive end rotation seems to be good enough with Nealon and Lawson added. We know the revamped linebacker room. We know the secondary. So you're looking at, can you get enough out of running back and can you get enough out of D tackle? And so what players like this do on a team where they would have to be the Micahs, or they would have to be the Osa, or they would have to be the DeMarcus Lawrence. Now you're like, that's not great. That's not playoff caliber. But on a team like this that has all those, and now you're just trying to match up with San Francisco, with Philly, with Buffalo, with the Ravens, with those teams, now these additions make a play or two and again. Lawson gets you a sack that you wouldn't have had before because you didn't have that type of guy in rotation. Phillips makes a play, jumps up 6'6", blocks a pass on a third down, makes a team punt. Little stuff like that is what you need when you have great players everywhere. So, yeah, for here, they're going to be impact players, even though they wouldn't be on a lesser roster.
Is it weird that Marshawn Nealon makes me feel better about this D-line than Sam Williams does? Is it weird? I'm saying injuries aside, because of course you don't want injuries on anyone. I want Sam completely healthy. I feel more comfortable with Nealon. If it was last year's team, but you replace Sam Williams with Marshawn Nealon, unless we see Marshawn Nealon kind of act like an idiot on the field because all those penalties like on special teams, which Nealon won't be a part of. I feel better
because he plays sound football. He isn't the talent that Sam Williams is. Speed, size, he's not that, but he plays sound football, and that matters. And he is talented. It's not like he plays sound football and it's me out there. He's talented, and he play like when he plays, he doesn't try to get past the tight end and go down the line and leave a hole. He takes the tight end and puts him in the running back's lap. Sound football. You don't leave your gap. You don't leave an opening for someone to cut back on you. So, yeah, I totally get that. I'm actually with you, and I like Sam Williams, but it's true.
I can't wait for people to look at the end of this year. Man, Marshawn Nealon didn't do much. He didn't have many sacks. Did you watch his run fits? It's this is your DeMarcus Lawrence replacement. I don't want to think of a day where DeMarcus Lawrence isn't on this team, but that's what Marshawn Nealon is. But a player that will get you a few sacks, but he's defending the run like his ass depends on it.
Yeah,
it's what it is, and it's great.
He'll get 5-6 sacks.
It's gonna be so awesome.
Why?
All right. When you factor in their draft picks, free agency signings, when it means signings, it means Kendricks.
Yeah.
And recent additions, has Dallas done enough to replace the players they lost in free agency?
Okay, let me see. I wrote this down. Okay, so we lost Fowler, D.A., Hankins, Gallimore. Replaced them with Nealon, Lawson, Phillips, Rogers. I'd say yes there. D-line, yes, you're good. LVE for Kendricks, absolutely. Give me that. Yeah, a healthy guy. Tyron and Biotish for Guyton and Beebe. Little less this year. Tyron was an all-pro. Let's give him his props. But Beebe will probably be a little bit better than Biotish just on his power. I'd say that's pretty close. Pollard to Zeke is a miss. I know we love
easy.
Zeke.
Oh, no, that's an easy miss. Yeah.
And then Gilmore, you have Diggs returning. And I know Diggs was on the team last year, but Bland was a slot guy. Diggs was outside. So you kind of have Diggs taking the outside spot now for Gilmore. And then Carson is in there as well. And although he doesn't play the slot, you have Jordan Lewis back healthy. I'd say it's fair enough to call that a push. So minus running back, I think Dallas has done enough with Lawson, with Phillips, with Kendricks, and with this draft class that they did fill holes enough to make it. And we'll see. Maybe they still do something for a running back. We'll see.
This linebacker room was Marquise Bell, the leftover corpse of Leighton Vander Esch, and Damone Clark. That was what we were running last year.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
I feel bad because Clark has played his ass off this year. Something's clicked in year 3.
Well, he doesn't have to do as much. He's playing this the Sam, I believe. It's like I got my fit, I got my zone. That's what he's got to do. I don't got to tell anyone else. I know where I need to be. And so he gets to let his athleticism show.
And then poor Bell. Bell, like, what do you want Bell to do? Like, he should have never been. Do you see him playing at the position he's supposed to play at? Like,
hey,
that poor guy.
Against the Giants, he looked pretty good. But as we can see in the preseason, any player will look good against the Giants.
Oh, man. Daniel Jones.
People, of course, this is Cowboy Show. We're gonna I get a 50-second Dak rant. You see what happens. You pay a guy, which Dallas have to suck to even get to a height of pick to draft a guy like him, or you could just pay your dude. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's really not.
You could land a home run like Trevor Lawrence. Home run. Best me. This is me telling you.
Yeah.
Who's the highest guy I had graded since Andrew Luck. I mean, he's a home run. And he hasn't even been a quarter of what Dak was in Dak's first rookie contract.
Yeah.
You just pay the guy. You have
it's not hard. Everyone, like I said earlier, some part of this fan base deserves QB purgatory. Like, let's go bring Quincy Carter back. Let's go bring back Mark Sanchez. Let's go do. You know what? Let's go bring back Matt Castle. Let's go do that. Y'all want to go have some fun? You want hell? What you're gonna get.
You want to know what? God, and I had this nightmare. You know the guy that it's going to be. Imagine, say they wanted to keep Dak, but Dak was like, I don't want to be a part of this. You don't want to pay me. It was a pain in the ass. I'm leaving, right? He takes off. Yeah. You know the guy they're going to bring in?
I have a feeling. Yep, I was about to say it.
They're going to bring Russell Wilson in. Russell Wilson's won before. He knows how to take it to the next level. He knows how to win. We have a great roster around him. I'm sad.
Russell Wilson, I'll say Russell Wilson might lose his job to Justin Fields. And Justin Fields hasn't done anything.
I'm sad.
For the Steelers, he had potential with the Bears, what I'm saying, but with the Steelers, Justin Fields has done nothing. And Russell Wilson actually might lose his job.
I've been getting a lot of messages on my phone during this thing, and I'm just praying that it's people texting me, hey, we signed Dak. Like,
yeah, no, I keep looking. I'm like, oh, ESPN. Like, oh, the Rangers game. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks.
Sad.
Just wanted some news. All right, well, let's get back to out of the Dak conversation. Is the defense actually better with Mike Zimmer?
Yeah, better scheme, better usage of Micah. Linebacker and DBs are better with Diggs back and the people they brought in. So, yeah, it's better. Partly because of Zimmer, partly because the talent's better.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's what we've heard from the players. We were all getting pumped about, like, oh, with Dan Quinn, everyone talking about how simple it is. There's a problem with that. NFL is not supposed to be simple unless you're playing a rookie quarterback. That's why I keep telling, I'm like, Bo Nix is going to look good with Sean Payton. That offensive scheme, it's going to be, you throw here, your two reads are here, you run. That's all you do. And that's okay because that's what you're supposed to do with a rookie quarterback, but that's the only thing that should be simple.
Yeah. Agreed.
Everything else should be complex. You're facing other grown men. You're facing other adults with their actual minds and stuff. It's like, it's what you got to do. All right. Well, Trey Lance has shown improvement in back-to-back preseason games, but it's still inconsistent. How much, if at all, would his play improve if he had Lamb, Cooks, and Fergie on the field with him?
Of course, your play is going to improve with better players because Lamb could catch a 5-yard pass and take it 80 yards. Fergie could bring down a throw that was too high, but it doesn't. as far as like his processing, how he sees things, his accuracy, his how he goes through reads. No, you'd still see the mistakes, but yeah, he'd play a better game because it's obviously more talent around you.
Is it bad? I feel like it would show just how much worse he is by all these overthrows, his throws from behind. You see these wide receivers doing all this all the time. Like I feel like
that's fair.
Yeah, I feel like he would be worse because I think he would overthink it. I feel like he'd be. I have an All-Pro. I have 2 Pro Bowl. I got a Pro Bowl tight end, another Pro Bowl receiver. I should be able to dot this up. I overthrew it.
That's
and
fair.
Like,
that is absolutely fair. I didn't think of it from that flip. I was just like, yeah, you have better players on the field. Of course, you're going to look better. But yeah, it can also, when you know how good the talent is, if he's missing wide open people, missing reads, and throwing inaccurately, people will more go, look how he's playing.
It's just, I don't want to think about it. That's what some Cowboys' dreams are, is for Trey Lance to be thrown to him. Just, How much does Trey Lance's success / development affect the Cowboys' decision to re-sign Dak?
0.
Yeah.
None. They're not in the same stratosphere.
Like I said, in the Cowboys, I'm talking in the front office perfect world, Dak doesn't play it down this year. He does not. Trey Lance looks great. But guess what? You got to pay Trey Lance next year. I don't get why everyone's like, oh my gosh, we can do so much better with him than Dak. And then we don't have to pay him as much. Dak is still going to get like 60 mil. You're still going to have to pay Trey Lance. Like, if he plays well, 40, 45 million. And that is disgusting. Like, that would actually, I don't think I would talk on this podcast for a little while. I would just be here mute. You
want to know the grossest thing? If Dak leaves, you got a $40 million dead cap hit on him next year, too. So you'd be even if you got Lance for 25, Lance will come in, he played good, but he's going to give us a discount for a year. 25 plus 40, 65 million. And you could have just paid your quarterback 58 to 62 million.
I don't like this. Isn't Madden where it's like, oh, hey, let's play the more athletic, cheaper guy. Let's do this, and you're going to look well. That's not how this works. That's not how life works. I did that in Madden last year. I just let Dak's contract go out. I'm like, in Madden, if you pay someone, you're screwed. Okay, if you get any normal cap hit, you can't pay anyone. So I was like, whatever. I'll play with Lance. And so, but this isn't Madden. I don't know why everyone's acting like this is just a video game. And I'm sorry. We've been actually going for 48 minutes. I'm proud of us. Look at us go, Mike.
Yeah, we're kicking butt.
Yeah. Well,
I'll get this over with quick.
Here's Mike's view from the sideline. What do you like and dislike about Maurice Leafau?
Leafau instincts, obviously, love that. How quickly he attacks, as we talked. I don't really have any dislikes yet. I have stuff I'm unsure about because I haven't seen it, but nothing I dislike. And that'll be a theme for all the players. I don't really have a dislike for these guys because I haven't seen stuff. I just have stuff I'm not sure yet. Can I see it first?
Well, then, who do you think our starting center is going to be up by week 1?
BB. Yeah, we already talked about that.
BB. Yeah. This looks so good, dude. Like, you want to have your best 5 out there? He's one of your best 5. Like
6'4", 327-pound starting nose tackle for the Raiders. He put him on his ass. And then
got the linebacker.
And then the starting middle linebacker was blitzing behind him, and he just moved over and put him in the air 2 feet, and he landed on the ground. And it's just like, this dude's this, and he's the worst of the 3 interior guys by like 1 million. Yeah. That's how amazing that is. Like, BB is amazing. Like, you could see what he's going to be, and he sucks compared to the 2 guards. That's how good that interior line could be if you just put BB in there.
I want to know how the Cowboys scouting department does it with finding O-linemen. I'm like, can you do it for other positions? Can you please? You can do. You've been doing it with DBs now. I'm going to give them full credit for what they've done with, of course, Diggs, Bland. maybe Carson, Wanye Thomas. They've gotten Bell, undrafted free agency. Dono's a 6th round pick. Like this scouting department has done wonders. If we didn't have half the scouting department we had, I don't want to know what this team would be.
Will McClay keeps the Joneses competitive.
Yeah. Well, you gotta think the only time the Cowboys, one of the only times the Cowboys have had a pick where it's like, oh, this is such an easy choice. It was Lamb. That was it. That was your only. If you don't take him, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And because you got lucky that he somehow fell at pick 17. Like, I don't know what the NFL rule was doing, but that's what happens.
And now they have him out of camp because they're not paying him.
Yeah. So here's Brendan's bashing. I love this. Like, I love it throughout the season because if a game goes and I'm really pissed off, it helps me. But, like, honestly, bashing is the front office with the we've already talked about like the contracts of piss. Like, I'm like, just pay your guys. It's not that hard. People are talking about Micah's. Like, you don't even have to think about Micah until next year. Like, does Micah deserve a contract? Yes, because he's an All-Pro. But like, don't even think about that right now. Just pay your guys that are free agents this year. Because I know D-Law is getting close as well. Like, you need to think about making sure you keep your depth. And like I said, it is your depth, like your backup tight ends. Everyone's like, oh my God, they're gonna be so good. Look how great they are. They haven't shown anything. Most of your back end receivers have been so up and down this preseason. I know it has to do with Lance as well, but the drops are gross. Your boy Moreno Cropper drops that on that punt, that fumble on that punt.
He was making the damn team. He was doing so good.
Oh, he was. He was. I don't know what you're doing. Like, everyone's 50-50. Even Florida hasn't done great, and then he just destroys Jack Jones. I'm like, you might have just won your spot there. It's just like, it's whatever. And also, it's the injury bug. You always got to bash that. Everyone's looking great until like, oh, well, no, he's hurt. I don't know what happened. I don't like Thursday practices. I don't. Under Mike McCarthy, I think that's like my least favorite day of the week. It's because I'm like, damn it, who are we going to find out now tore their ACL, broke their toe, like me out 3 weeks? Like, who's going to just hurt us? And it just sucks. But, like, other than that, not really anything because Dallas hasn't done much, but the rookies are showing out, and a lot of other players are actually doing a lot better than I thought. And also, I'm not going to say bashing, but, like, I know I talked about earlier, Brandon Aubrey, just best kicker in the NFL. Like, Tucker is uber accurate, and Tucker will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But coming to the league at 28 now, he's 29, and he's just able to do all this stuff is absolutely insane. And that he didn't need the goalpost to bounce the ball in. It's just crazy. All right, well, here we're on over-under 150 touches for Deuce Vaughn this season.
Under. I think he'll be a practice squad call-up guy.
I like my hopefulness to say he's gonna make the roster, but this is like them talking about Tavon Austin, Kevontae Turpin. Oh, they're gonna give him so many touches. They're gonna be one of the vital parts of the offense. Shut up. No, they're not. Yeah, mine was an easy under. One word: Brandon Aubrey's 66-yard field goal was
easy. That man could have hit it. They said from 72. He hit the back of the net from 66. That's the thing that blows my mind. If it barely got over, I'd be like, oh, Brandon Aubrey, what a leg, man. He snuck that one in. Don't try that in the regular season, though. Maybe into half, but don't go. This dude booted it like it was like, 66. Give me the 68-yarder. That'll be a challenge. Like crazy.
No, I'm going to give all props to my friend Cooper because we were both watching the game and we were talking on Discord about we were both playing Madden. And I'm like, okay, cool. They're kicking a field goal. It's a 66-yarder. It's whatever. He's like, he's going to make it. I'm like, dude, it's whatever. It's 66 yards. Like, dear God, I don't know what I have to do for my leg to get anywhere near 30 yards, much less 66. And then he nailed him like, oh, he did it. So my word is magical. Because I'm like, dude, nothing in this world could do that.
He's special.
And it's just insane.
He's special.
And there we have it. I like to point out before we end the show, we miss Paul. We hope his toothache gets better. No man needs to be talking on a podcast when he should be just getting that better. You need to be focusing on that. Talking for an hour with that, no one should have to go through that.
I kind of wanted to make him. I don't know why. Just
see him talk and then just get like pissed off because he's in pain.
Yeah.
See, no. Oh, we should have had him on just so we could just be talking about nerd stuff the entire time instead of the show sheet.
Yes. That would have been
now
we're saving the top 5 for Paul, by the way. We'll have it this week.
Yeah. So don't worry. And also, Paul, we would never. It's nothing but love. But before we get out of here, Mike, where can we find you on X, aka Twitter?
CD Piglet, guys. Letter C, letter D, Piglet. Nice and easy. You know the drill.
You can find me at Brendan_Smith26, and you can find Paul at Paul_Ryan15. And that's that. Thanks for watching.
Wolverine Deadpool. So good. So good.